How are you?
Yay! Good.
Livermore Phil-Am is represented right here. Yeah. So thank you again to the organizers, Tri-Valley for Black Lives and Livermore Indivisible, which I'm a very proud member of. When I first encountered the term AAPI, I must admit that I wasn't a big fan of the acronym. Because in Tagalog, I was born and raised in the Philippines, and Tagalog is my mother tongue. In Tagalog, we have a word that's spelled API, pronounced api. And in English, it means abuse, oppression, and all those negative things. And that's exactly the opposite of what we're trying to achieve here, right? And then I have that image of this elderly Chinese auntie in San Francisco who fought back at her attacker and actually causes the attacker to go to the hospital on a stretcher. So yay! Elderly Chinese auntie! So it's never right to api anybody, but to api an elderly person, that's just cruel and cowardly, don't you think? Yeah. So my family came here 23 years ago, and we raised our 2 kids here in Livermore. I love it here in Livermore. Just a few days ago, I was having a conversation with one of my kids, and the observation is Livermore, perhaps like a number of suburban areas, feel sterile. Sterile because while there are incidents committed against members of minority groups, LGBTQ community, the BIPOC community, Black, Indigenous, people of color community, it's not in the scale of what we see in the big cities. And that makes Livermore a safe and comfortable place to live in. But if we don't bring this conversation back to our homes, if we have that attitude of, if it doesn't affect me, then I don't care. If we box ourselves in that comfort and safe attitude, in that safe state, and we remain there, I'm afraid that we will lose our sense of empathy and compassion. And that, my friends, is the start of a danger zone. That's where danger zone begins. Because we know that many of the violent attacks and the killings, they all started and they were born out of sheer ignorance and fear of differences among fellow human beings. And so that's why these kinds of events are so important in our community, because this is where we can present our differences to each other. And there are always going to be differences. I'm always going to be brown-skinned with yellow running in my blood also. But so long as we have these conversations, and so long as we are open to our differences, I assure you that this gap is going to get closer and narrower and smaller until we can all move in the same space without fear, and we can move freely and authentically. And so, my friends, thank you for being here, because you chose to be here in support of the AAPI community. Peace and love, everyone.